A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and here we are with some more Tiny Diecast Fury. And when talking about realistic cars, there's a lot of marks, many of which are indeed very popular with Mattel. Ford, Chevrolet, Dodge, and many others. And I've even highlighted a good majority of various marks that have only had one inclusion in Hot Wheels so far. I've talked a bit about the Kia Stinger GT, which is the only Kia model so far. Then there was the Lexus SC400, which is the only Lexus, a handful of Oldsmobile models, and now it's time to talk a bit about Lincoln. A series that certainly should have its own inclusion within Mattel's lifespan would definitely have a lot of effect. A lot of us are indeed fans of the marque itself, but so far this is the only model that they've been able to give us. The 64 Lincoln Continental. This is the same kind of car that President Kennedy was in on the day of his assassination. But it's also an amazing little piece. Just look at this thing. A nice dark brown sort of color combined with some gold pieces that if you point towards sunlight or light in general, it really glimmers very nicely. And the brown can definitely be a little more visible as it has that sort of glitter-like look onto it, like what most metallic colored models have. That sort of speckled finish really does shine quite well. Then, for some reason, there's a giant W on the top of the roof, in a pretty weird-looking font. I can't necessarily be sure about that, but in any case, though, this is another big example of 2008, by any means. I really do love this model and the nice sort of lowrider look that it happens to give us, where it sits really close to the ground. There's a bunch of models I got that have that sort of look to them. It's got a nice detailed grille, nice backside, and this sort of streamlined look that it has, despite with the boxy sort of feel to it, really was something. And then of course we also can't forget to mention that this is one of a few actual cars, real life cars, that has suicide doors. As in ones that turn backwards rather than the typical forwards that they usually do on most vehicles that are 4-door or 2-door. So I feel like that is probably about enough to cover that whole entire part. So do be sure to stick around though, because there's more content on the rise. Take care.